We just witnessed a huge turning point for the Edmonton Oilers and one of the craziest moments in this entire postseason with this ridiculous challenge leading to the massive Evan Bouchard goal. The Edmonton Oilers, sealing the game with the empty netter with 7 seconds left, are now fully on a winning streak in this postseason, looking to take over the LA Kings. We got to dive into everything that changed for the Oilers. One big X factor in Evander Kane that is proving to be a huge difference maker in this series. That plus much more. We got to discuss it all in this episode of Hat Trick HQ. But before we get into the video, a quick reminder: over 90% of you watching this video are not subscribed. We got videos on all your favorite teams, all the biggest stories around the NHL. And if you want to stay up to date, hit the free button down below. Mark, let's dive right into this. And my gosh, the playoffs yesterday were absolutely insane. And this game here, Edmonton versus LA, this series has been crazy so far. LA coming in with the 2-0 lead. Edmonton now coming back home, needing a desperate win. And a big win it was, 7-4. Now, there's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about in this video. Evander Kane coming in and being incredible in the lineup. What was your, first of all, we'll get into the, I know we'll talk about that challenge, but we're going to wait a bit for that. We'll hold your horses on that. We got some other things to say first. What was your overall opinion of this game, again, with Calvin Pickard getting the start in net as well?
I mean, the big changes seem to work. Calvin Pickard coming in, they secure the win 7-4. This has been one of the most insane series so far. High scoring, multiple goals on both ends. But I think a big turning point of this game is when we seen the LA Kings make the god-awful challenge. On the Evander Kane goal, this led to a power play goal. They dominated the game after this. This is a must-win for the Oilers. If you're going down 3-0 in a series, that changes everything for the team. But tying it up, 2-1 and winning at home, this makes it so much better. The Oilers can go on to win Game 4, tie the series up, and then it's anyone's series at that point, Josh. I don't know if you feel the same way, but this has been so hectic to watch as an outsider.
Yeah, it's been nuts. And I mean, something I always say is you don't know which way a series is going to go until the home team loses. And right now it's been an unbelievable series to watch. I mean, so many goals. I will say, I think we should comment on the goaltending for Edmonton before we dive into the goal scoring, because that was a big difference maker here. But right now, looking at these goalies, this is still an issue for the Edmonton Oilers. As much as, we're talking about them now, making this turning point, I gotta ask you, like, when we're talking about sustainability for the rest of the playoffs, how confident are you that this goalie core can get it done? Now, I know Jake Wallman came out today and was saying, like, look, we have goals that we want to hit to avoid giving up as many goals as we are. We have defensive ideas. We don't want to give up as many high danger chances. Didn't quite work last night. They have these plans going forward, but the problem is, Mark, again, it seems like whenever they have an off night offensively, this team is very liable to lose a game. I mean, how are you feeling with these two heading into the rest of this series? And again, if the Oilers manage to come back, which, hey, guess what? LA versus Edmonton, I think, 2023? LA was up 2-1 in that series. It's not impossible, but I gotta say, as much as I do like what I saw from the Oilers in last night's game, this is a big worry for me.
I mean, looking at the goalies, this is the biggest worry. You know you have a team that can score, but can you continue to outscore the opponents every game? Obviously, Skinner, an 810 save percentage. You cannot continue to run this guy as a starting goaltender, especially in this series, heading forward, whatever it may be. Calvin Pickard has shown shines, but I mean an 840 save percentage, 839 even. This cannot continue. You need one of these guys to really step up. I mean, just looking at the scoring in the series, we can see the Kings have 16 total goals. Yes, the Oilers have 14, but how long can this Oilers team really continue to outscore their goalie problems? We know the defense, they try to add more. They added guys like Jake Wallman to this team. They went out to even pick up John Klingberg, but is this enough? And I know Ekholm's out. That is a big blow to the Oilers back end. But Josh, I don't think this is enough to change the Oilers goalies. And I think that's going to be the major story for this team just heading into the remaining games of this series.
Yeah, and again, right, it's a great point because this decor does look better with Ekholm in it. There is no doubt he is an amazing player, very effective. There were a lot of questions around the deadline when you went and acquired Wallman, and you also, you bring in Klingberg during the season. It's like, are those really the type of guys when your biggest issue is, well, heading into the playoffs, one of your biggest worries is the lack of defensive game and, letting your goalies get shelled. Like, look, the goalies have not been great, but it's not all their fault. There have been some brutal turnovers from some Oilers players. I mean, Bouchard again in game 1 and 2 wasn't great. Had a fantastic game 3. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I mean, there was questions when they traded for Wallman from San Jose. We thought it was going to be Ferraro before the name came out. You add Ferraro and Ekholm here. It's a different story. But there's no point in speculating now. Regardless, it is a bit of an issue, but we're going to see how Edmonton continues to address it. And look, Edmonton can outscore their problems a lot of the time. That's something we're seeing. But like you said earlier, Mark, we got to talk about the single biggest turning point in this series. And like, let's be honest, it was that challenge. And if we just roll the clip here now, like, look at this. Like, so we see the picture, and I kind of get what maybe LA was looking for. But every fan, every analyst watched the play, and they didn't see anything, and it led to this goal, right? Like you're down 4-3, and then Evander Kane scores a goal. It's like unbelievable as well. Evander Kane, Mark, I want to hear your thoughts on him as well. But like that play to me, I genuinely am baffled. And I know everyone's already said this, but it's not just about the challenge itself. It's about the momentum that gives the Oilers now for the rest of that game. Again, tied it up immediately. 10 seconds later, scoring the go-ahead goal on a play that Evan Bouchard and Leon Draisaitl, well, Draisaitl was a little secretive of, right? Bouchard scored that goal. I think it was like one of the fastest 2 goals in Edmonton Oilers history. Yeah, quick goals. Exactly. Kane and Bouchard tied the 4th fastest 2 goals in a playoff game in Oilers history with that. So in that game, of course, it led to the game-winning goal, the 5-4 goal, and they went on to win 7-4. But Mark, like that momentum, getting that win on home ice, that alone can change your psychology. That alone can change your intensity when you come out next game. And that, to me, I think is the biggest implication of this. It's not just the individual win, it's how the Oilers are going to go into next game, how they're feeling. Because let's be honest, psychology, especially in the playoffs, plays a major role.
Because, I mean, the biggest thing looking at the photo, this is the man fighting off 6 LA Kings to score this goal to tie it up. We know the challenge. You can read the screenshot. Kane has been a huge part. We know he was out for majority of the season with an injury, joining this Oilers team in the playoffs, making an immediate impact. This is a gut-wrenching situation for the LA Kings. You go into a game, you're leading 4-3. Then you get this goal, you challenge it. A lot of players might look at this and say, why even challenge? You get the game-winning goal scored on you. I think this kind of sunk the momentum for the Kings. Yes, they had a 2-0 series lead, but now the Oilers are at home, won a game, going for their second game. I don't know, Josh, this was a point of the series that I think if it completely changes, if the Oilers go out and win the series, I think you're going to look at this screenshot alone and say this was the main turning point for the Edmonton Oilers going into the second round.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, this is one of those that's just baffling. And if the Kings go on to win this series, you're not going to think about it. But again, looking at Edmonton right now, you already have guys who are kind of on fire, right? Draisaitl, 5 points in 3 games. Bouchard, again, with a phenomenal game 3. I think it was the first Oilers defenseman to get 2 power play goals in the playoff game, or the first in a long time at the very least. Crazy stuff from him. 5 points there. Zach Hyman, even 3 points. And of course, he had that, he's had some great plays as well throughout this series. But McDavid, again, coming in with the 7 points in 5 games. After a loss in the playoffs, he has 63 points in 33 games following a loss, which is absolutely absurd, Mark. And that comes to our final point here. Is like, when we're talking about Edmonton moving forward, they need to keep scoring. At this pace, I don't know, because Darcy Kemper was one of the best goalies in the league this season. But like the LA Kings kind of let him down a little bit tonight. I mean, Kemper, again, he wasn't absolutely phenomenal. Like there's maybe some shots he could have saved, but the Oilers were not making it easy on him, especially that power play goal and that Kane goal. It's like, what are you going to do? The empty netter, of course, that's like 3 of the goals right there, questionable, but Edmonton's been able to sustain the pressure. And as much as we want to detract from them for their lack of defensive talent on the defensive end, they make up for it a lot of the time, like last night, in offensive talent, being able to help producing those 7 goals thanks to Bouchard in large part, right? So do you think, heading into the rest of this series, after this turning point, Edmonton has what it takes to outscore the Kings, to even lock up a bit defensively and make that push to the next round?
I think the biggest thing is, listen, the Oilers can score. We've seen it. We can see that Connor McDavid, 7 points. We know what he can do after a loss. This is a team hungry to win a Stanley Cup after failing to win versus the Florida Panthers last year. But my biggest concern for Oilers fans is, if your offense dries up in the slightest, can your goalies bail you out of a game? And if Darcy Kemper finds his mid-season form again, where we were seeing him post shutouts, it felt like every second week or every week, this kind of throws a wrench in the Oilers. I don't know if they could win a game at this point, 2-1 or 3-2. I feel like they're going to have to go into games and score 4+ goals in order to win. I mean, just looking at the scoring, they lost the first game 5-6. They lost the second game 2-6. They won 7-4, but every series so far, minus the other one, they've had to score 4+ goals in order to even compete with the Kings. I don't know, Josh. It's going to get scary. Game 4 is going to show a lot with this team, but I don't know if the Oilers can continue outscoring their problems like this.
I mean, look, if we go back to that screenshot, one of the biggest things I think they can do is help with their discipline. Again, opponents with 7. The Kings have 7 power play goals. in 12 power play opportunities. Right now, one of their biggest things is going to have to be discipline, not allowing power play goals from the opponent, and I think it'll help them out a bit. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. This is a huge turning point. Let us know your thoughts down below, because that'll do it for this episode of Hat Trick HQ. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Over 90% of you watching still haven't done it. It's completely free, and we're here all playoffs long. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host Mark Pye. We'll catch you in the next one.